There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the ImagineEars Disney Podcast. I am your host, Matt, and I'm joined as always, by my good friend and co-host, Susie. Hey, Susie.
Hi.
How we doing?
Oh, good. I had a little technical difficulty while we were doing our little countdown, but everything's good now.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Okay, good.
Well, speaking of technical difficulties, apologies to the people who are looking at the caption for tonight's episode. I forgot to update it. We are not doing our favorite cast member costumes for the second week in a row.
What if we just did that? Do you think people would notice?
I mean, maybe. So,
I would hope
we are not doing that.
No.
We are going to talk about, so we were just in Disney World this past weekend, and we had our pass holder preview for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and the new France Pavilion expansion. So we got to try all of the things, and we're going to talk about that at length this evening. Spoiler free, of course. And then, we'll just kind of keep it kind of short and wrap it up this week because this is a very big week.
Is it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
If you guys didn't know, this weekend is Magic Kingdom and therefore Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. And Matt and I were talking earlier today, and it's gonna be a crazy one, but we're excited. There's just so much going on. I feel like there's a lot unknown as to just like what's gonna happen that day, if anything's going on that day. But we'll be there and we'll be posting whatever we can and sharing as much as possible and recap it next week.
Yeah, we really don't know what is going to take place that day. The whole COVID situation still is kind of going on, so I don't know the extent of what extra special things that they will be doing.
Well, they're still going to have enchantment. So I feel like as long as there's going to be the night show, then if they're doing that, then I feel like they have no problem with cramming us in like sardines anywhere else.
Right. And I'm trying to think. So who was it that was at the Magic Kingdom 40th? I was there.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
But like they rededicated the Magic Kingdom, and Eisner was it Eisner? I think Eisner was there.
That feels like a good guess.
Yeah,
if I had
there were just a lot of
guess.
There was a lot going on that week. So but
we don't know this time around.
Right, we don't. But I remember 10 years ago saying, "I want to be here for the 50th," and here we are.
Oh, here we are.
Here we are. So we're excited to go check that out later this week. If you guys are going to be in the parks, let us know. We'd love to say hey. So, very good. But quick shout outs to all the peoples who are watching. So Claire says hello. Hey, Claire.
Oh, hi, Claire.
Hope you're having a great week. Same to you, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Listening and watching. And then, of course, our friend Michael.
Gosh, there's a party going on YouTube. You guys having fun watching.
Yep. And then Megan is popping in to say, I have a few topics for shows. the Pixar theory, and all the hidden Disney characters in each Disney movie. Ooh, that's an interesting topic we haven't gotten.
We've had Pixar theory on the radar for a while. I feel like news keeps popping up, or honestly, the Pixar theory takes a lot of research, and I don't know if we've necessarily, like, with all the stuff going on and travel things, have had time to like really dig into that. But it's definitely coming up
for sure. And oh, what was it? Yeah, oh yeah, the hidden Disney characters. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I was talking with my wife about one of the characters because our 3-year-old was watching Alice in Wonderland, and I think his name is Bill the Lizard. I don't know when was the last time you watched Alice in Wonderland.
Not recently.
Well, Bill the Lizard is like the chimney sweep, and but he also makes an appearance in The Great Mouse Detective. Little cameo appearance. So anyway.
Hey, while we're just kind of sitting here chatting, I definitely forgot to say this, and it's been a little bit, and we said we would talk about it, but as you guys know, we are both, Matt's like, what the heck is happening? We are both travel agents, and we had a client travel a few weeks ago to Walt Disney World, and I didn't want to put Matt on the spot. I don't know if he has a photo or not, but
you didn't send me the photo.
So I didn't. I sent you the whole screenshot of the conversation. But we had a listener travel with her friends and go to Boo Bash, and it was awesome. They dressed up as Disney villains, and they just had a super fun time. And then the next morning at Hollywood Studios, our friend Hannah got engaged. So yay, congrats,
Congratulations, Hannah.
So yeah, we're so excited about that. And listen, I don't know about Matt, but I know my brain has just been absolute jelly the last few weeks with everything happening. But been texting with her, and we were so happy. I texted Matt. I was like, I feel like a proud parent. Like, it's like, that's my client. So yeah, just wanted to give her a shout out and let you guys know that cool stuff happens when you work with us.
And it's just it's so much fun just being able, because you guys that book with us, it's not just okay, you book a trip with us. Like, we're invested in your trip, and so when special things happen like this, we're celebrating with you. So that's a lot of fun.
We have a couple of listeners traveling right now. We've got Paige traveling. We've got Phil down at Disney, who we will probably end up seeing this weekend when we go down there. I hope we get to. So yeah, you guys, like, when we see you at the 50th or just in general, like, you guys mean a lot to us. And when you work with us, you're more than just, Matt said, like, you're a client. We all become friends.
Yeah, and Alex commented and says, I'm currently planning my first solo trip, probably going down during President's Day weekend.
That's a good time to go.
Alex, send us an email and let us know how we can help you, because we will make that solo trip extra special for you, because solo trips are awesome. And
I just did my first one recently. I loved it. I mean, I've spent time in the park by myself, but the first whole staying in the hotel, driving all by myself like a big kid. It's
family
awesome.
Trips are always fun, but solo, not taken away from that. The solo trips, you can do what you want, when you want, and there's a certain freedom to it. And it's don't let traveling by yourself deter you from taking a trip, because it really can be a good time. So, speaking of a good time, we had a great time on Saturday.
You know what we did?
Yep.
I was trying to think of a pun. Dang it. We did. There it is. We did. Because France. I'm going to turn in my resignation letter at this point.
I was like, what are you saying? So
he's like, stop talking.
Well, okay. So let's just talk about our entire experience in Epcot that day, because we did other stuff outside of our pass holder preview, and we got to see things for the first time. So the Club Cool is back, which was
yes,
awesome.
Club Cool.
So, and it's in a different location, because the other location is literally leveled. There's nothing there currently. So they have put it over where Mouse Gear used to be, and it's right next to the new shop, which is called Creation Shop. And Creation Shop was fun. Like, we went in and browsed, and some pretty cool merchandise.
Very, very Epcot themed. I feel like more so than Mouse Gear, which had a little bit of everything. This one has a lot of Epcot stuff.
And they're clearly going in a different direction with the theming. And actually, starting this week, Future World does not exist anymore.
Yes.
It is World Celebration. And then there's going to be World Discovery, World Nature, and World Showcase, of course. So
noticing a pattern here.
Yes. So World Celebration is where the new shop is. So it's called Creation Shop. And so all your Disney merchandise. There's a lot of people making a big deal how it's not. It looks like a regular store. I don't even.
I don't know what that means. Like,
what does that even mean?
It's a store.
It's a store. So.
But yeah, it's literally right next to that. You pass it. It'll be on your right if you're headed from like Spaceship Earth into the test track area or World Discovery.
Yes.
Gotta get used to that.
Yep. So it'll take a little getting used to, but it'll be fine. So they've already introduced new music and things like that already. So, but Club Cool is back and maybe better than ever. I feel like there are less fountains, but
it's definitely smaller.
It's definitely smaller, but it's the layout is completely different. So in the old Club Cool, you would have like these pods that had a drink station on one side and drink station on the opposite side. And this is just one wall of like probably 8 to 10. I think maybe
that sounds about right.
And right now they're limiting the amount of people inside. So there actually is a queue that backs up outside the door. Don't let that deter you from doing it, because we waited. It looked like a long line, but we waited maybe 10 minutes.
From the time we got in line till the time we got to our fountain. Right. Yeah, it did not take long at all.
So you go in, and if you remember Club Cool, it's the same concept. You go up to the fountains, and they have several Coca-Cola products from around the world, from different countries, and you get to try them. So all of the flavors are new, except for one. They brought back one. They brought back Michael actually is like, please tell me they still had Beverly. The Beverly is still the one.
Can't get rid of her. Girl is here to stay.
They kept the Beverly, and then they had, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, they had one from Madagascar. They had one from Costa Rica. There was China, Russia.
Dominican Republic.
Yes. Is that the watermelon one?
I can't believe so. I want to say something else in Asia.
Yeah.
I remember what they tasted like, and I remember which ones I did not enjoy.
So we were told by the cast member before we went up to the drink fountain that there was going to be one that could potentially rival the Beverly.
Yeah.
And after I tried it, I'm like, no, it's still a little different. But Susie was not a fan. It was fan.
It was so disgusting.
So
we don't want to ruin any of this, especially because we have a video of us tasting the new drinks that is coming soon to a YouTube channel near you.
Yes.
So check that out, because I can still taste one of them.
It's the one from China. So just watch the video. You'll see Susie's reaction. What did you describe it as? Burnt
toast.
Burnt toast.
It tasted like barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So it's
I'm sorry.
It's a sour plum flavor, but
Hmm.
you also didn't like the meringue one, did you?
No, I did not.
From Madagascar. I didn't think that one.
No, I did not. That was horrible.
I liked the one from Russia. It was
That was good.
It was Sprite cucumber, but it was really good.
It was like carbonated cucumber water with just like a little bit of like with sugar. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. There are a lot of good ones, and then of course you had the Beverly. So we were actually with someone who had never had Beverly before.
Yeah,
and he didn't really care for it that much. Imagine that.
Not a surprise. I don't know anyone who does.
Yeah. So we did Club Cool, and then we started working our way around.
We did Test Track.
We did Test Track. That was a lot of fun, of course. And then we went over to the land because we had a little bit of time before we had our pass holder preview. It was at 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We tried to do Soarin', but the wait got too long, so we did Live In With the Land. But on the way over, we got our very first glimpse of our very first statue. And I mean, when Figment starts your day, you know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, I can't believe this is the first character statue I've seen. Yay!
So, I'm not a huge fan of how they laid them out
at least in Epcot. Do you know if they're like this in the other parks?
Well, there's only like a handful in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are in the hub for Magic Kingdom. There are a few spread out, but they put all of the ones in Epcot, I think with the exception of Figment, in the entrance to World Showcase.
Right. So the characters who they selected that could potentially have been put in places in World Showcase that correlate to countries their movies take place in. No.
They're just kind of there. So
that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. So
they look good though.
Christoph, and Alex also wants to know why all the hate for Figment, Susie.
I just don't get it. And I'm not going to pretend to get it and bandwagon it. I didn't experience the original Figment. So the Figment I had growing up was garbage. Rode that once and was like, okay, that's cool. Not for me. So
the new Figment is kind of annoying, and that's fair because it is not an accurate representation of who that character is.
I feel like if that were true, they would have changed it by now to honor him, but once annoying, always annoying.
Well, the lead designer of the ride wants to change it and has plans, but they have to be approved first. So anyway.
Be like that. All right, so we saw Figment go into the land. Yes.
We rode Living with the Land. No cucumbers were stolen.
Everyone remained seated.
And we moved on with our lives and made our way back to the France Pavilion.
Bonjour.
Oui. And so if you don't know where this new expansion is, it is to the right of the pavilion pretty much. That is how you get back there. It's the new walkway. Mm-hmm. So the corridor that takes you to Impressions de France and the Beauty and the Beast sing-along, which you shouldn't do anyway. It's the far right side of that. That's where the walkway, the entryway to the new expansion is, and it's back behind the pavilion.
Yeah, think of where you meet like Aurora or where the French Santa goes normally, if you know where that is. What's his name? Noel, whatever.
Papa Noel. Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, but it's way over there.
Right. And if you want a good marker to find out where that is, there is now a nice little, would you call this a topiary? Yes.
I mean,
for me.
Yeah, he'll probably always be there.
Standing on a wheel of cheese.
He's so cute.
So that is the easiest way to see it. You just keep walking straight back there, and then that will reveal the big area for the expansion of the France Pavilion. And way in the back there is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. You want to talk about that first, I guess? Yes?
Yeah, we'll just talk about the attraction.
Yeah, just very briefly. We don't want to give away any spoilers too much.
Yeah, I think most important thing to note is there is not a height requirement for this ride. We were standing in the queue and a lady's holding like a 9-month-old baby in her arms. And I was like, oh, there's no height requirement for this ride. One of like 2 rides maybe at Epcot without a height requirement.
Let me
Living
think.
with the Land? No, Living with the Land I think has one.
Yeah, it does. Maybe Grand Fiesta Tour?
Maybe Grand Fiesta Tour.
Grand Fiesta. And then Frozen.
Frozen has one. I feel like with that backward portion, there has to be.
No, I know. I don't think there is.
Really?
Yep. Everybody can ride it.
Some brave babies.
I've seen a lot of really great family photos on that where little children like.
I don't blame them.
Yep.
But Epcot, especially with like Guardians coming out, has a wide variety of rides. So it's nice to have something that is good that anybody can ride.
Yes. And Claire asks, is it a replica of the ride in Paris? Yes. Yes, it is. So as far as we can tell, they haven't really made any changes. Although I did hear that the ride in Paris, the seats inside of the ride vehicle was a bench. And the ones here are actually kind of bucket seats. There's a separation between each individual person's seat on the vehicle. So
something's happening outside my window. So if anything happens, you guys, got it on camera. I think it's an animal. I think it was like an animal or something.
Oh, okay.
Not like a cougar, like a cat. I guess that's a cat. Anyway.
Cougars
yes.
in your neighborhood.
That's Florida. Who knows?
So I think that's really the only difference. It's still a 3D attraction, technically 4D. There are lots of physical effects, both with water and with smell. We don't want to give away all of those, so we won't. So, but yeah, there's just there's a lot of fun scenes where your senses are engaged, in addition to going through each individual scene. So,
yeah, and we rode twice. And I feel like between the two, we had slightly different experiences each time. It is trackless, so similar to Mickey and Minnie or Rise of the Resistance. That just means if you guys haven't done either of those, there's not like Haunted Mansion where everyone's just moving down a track. The vehicle you're in is programmed. So it looks like it's freely moving across the floor.
So you will have a series of 3 ride vehicles kind of strung together. And I think each individual car has a different program attached to it. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be slight variations to your experience when you ride it. But like Susie mentioned, there is no height requirement. It's good for everyone. It's a great family edition. And I think that's one of my biggest takeaways is, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster coming soon. Test Track obviously is still there. Soarin' to an extent. They all have height restrictions, and adding a ride like this where literally anyone in the park can ride it is a plus. So my only concern is the queue size.
Yes.
It is not big.
Yes. No,
it is not big. I'm trying to think of a ride to compare it to. And honestly, I'm thinking maybe slightly bigger than like Haunted Mansion.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
So it's not an Omni Mover. So I don't think it has quite the capacity per hour as Haunted Mansion. I'm not exactly sure what the capacity per hour is for Remy, but the queue that was really my only was like, oh, how is this? What is this going to be like?
Yeah.
The queue space is relatively small for an attraction of this size.
All I can think is When it officially opens to the public, it is going to be a virtual queue. So the
That is true.
same system you'll have to join to ride it, like we did for Rise of the Resistance. And then number two, um, no lightning lane at some point, or at least for the Genie Plus option,
Yep.
if this
Yep.
is one of those. So that may weed it out a little bit, but yeah, the outside portion is very small. And then inside, which by the way, the queue has so many details. So when you are waiting in line, you always have something to look at. Just maybe wallpaper.
Yeah,
Take a gander at that.
Look at the wallpaper, and then of course there's going to be kind of one kind of feature room that you'll want to see a lot of detail in, and again, we won't spoil it, but it's a lot of fun. They were able to, one of the difficulties with creating attractions like this, and especially with, and I think in the area of the France expansion in general, you only have so much space.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really great job of manipulating sight lines and what's the word I'm looking for? Perspectives.
Depth perspective.
Depth
Yeah.
perspective. So, and this room inside of the queue actually does a really great job with that, and kind of transports you to little size. So everything's just kind of oversized, and you'll see a really cool sign that I'm sure will be a big photo opportunity for a lot of people. But please keep the line moving. Don't hold the people behind you. If you're stopped and you're there for a little bit, take the picture, but keep moving along. But it's a lot of fun. So they did a really great job with the depth of the design inside of the queue and in the pavilion itself. So I think that's about all we can say on the ride itself. But again, the detail that they put inside of the area, I think, was more than I thought they would have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the molding and the textures on all the buildings, it's a really picturesque area.
It is. And of course, we were there during pass holder preview, so it wasn't as full because you had to be not only a pass holder to get back there, but a pass holder with a reservation for that day, because they are checking everyone's confirmation email to ensure that you're within your time window to go back there. And then, of course, scanning your magic bands to triple or as double confirm that that's where you're supposed to be. So it wasn't overly crowded. So we got to really take it in. That being said, the whole area isn't very large. We talked about the ride queue. We'll get then briefly here in a minute to the new restaurant. Everything in this area is a little smaller. So I would say just have that realistic expectation when it does open and you go back there for the first time. It will be crowded.
It's going to be crowded. It's going to be very crowded.
Expect it.
And merchandise, let's just briefly talk about that. We don't have any photos of it, but there's a single merchandise cart. I don't know if they're planning on expanding on this in the future, but for right now, it's literally one cart, and the items are cool. They're fun items.
There's one weird thing.
Okay, so I just like they did for Rise of the Resistance, they have the ride vehicle remote control little car, and it's the ride vehicle for I said Rise of the Resistance. Remy's is actually a mouse.
It's cute.
Yeah, so that's cool. But then there's also a remote controlled rat that can actually attach somehow to your clothing and can you can control its movement on your shoulder or wherever. Susie wasn't a fan.
I don't what do you do with that? I know what you do with it. You just described it. I think the deeper question would be why.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Then they had a cheese plush, so a wedge of cheese, and they had Remy in one of the holes, and then you could pull them out. So that was a fun plush. But I think the marquee item, merchandise item, is going to be the chef's hat. So they have a chef's hat, and it lights up. So it's really hard to see in the daytime, but when you're walking around at night, this is going to be really cool to see. They have a little animated segment going on inside of the top of the hat, and it's Remy, and he's like making cooking gestures like he did with Linguini in the movie, and then he pops out of the top of the hat.
Yeah,
so it's a very well designed, cool,
heavy duty.
Like we wanted to see how heavy and light this was, so eventually mail it as a prize. We did not get it because we were concerned about
the
logistics of getting that in a box and it safely making it to the winner. But
anywhere.
So speaking of which, we'll have our Patreon giveaway when we return from our trip this week, and we'll do some 50th anniversary merchandise.
Swag.
So yeah, the Remy merchandise was cool. So let's talk about the last thing in the area, and that is going to be the Creperie.
The Creperie.
La Creperie de Paris, and this is an interesting place. So it was excellent.
Oh, it was delicious.
All right, that. So,
oh my gosh.
We do need to point out that there is two parts of this place. There is a quick service window, and then there is a table service. So the quick service is going to have kind of a pared down menu of the table service. You're going to get, I think the majority, a lot of the dessert crepes.
Most of the dessert crepes, and I think it was about half of the savory crepes.
But no soup, no salad.
Correct.
Nothing like that. Okay, so we went in and made a quick reservation for that day. We only waited probably half an hour. And then once we were seated, we were looking around. We actually asked the waitress. I think there's like 106.
Yeah.
106 people can fit inside of this restaurant, which means this is very small. Yeah. This is going to, and it's going to be by reservation. So it is going to be difficult to get. And what's really going to make it difficult to get is because it's so good.
Yeah. It was delicious.
We'll
get to this in more detail, but good food. I feel like there can be something for everybody. Price point is unbeatable.
I'm not sure how long these price points will actually last.
Yeah.
So depending on what crepe, you could order crepes a la carte, or you could actually do their prefix menu, which gave you a starter. You could choose between a soup or a salad, and the soup that day was a potato leek. It was excellent. And then you chose I think I'm not good on my French, but I think it's called galette, Gallette, and they are savory. They're kind of like savory crepes. They're made from buckwheat. So I think this is kind of where they're going to throw some people off. I will say it's probably not for everyone.
It's for this girl. We described it as it's very earthy. So the kind of flour, by the way, it's gluten free, so you don't have to worry about that if that is something you are concerned with. But it comes from an area in France called Brittany. And that's where in France, that's where, they get the wheat to make the crepes. And so Creperie also imports it from the same, region. So they're darker in color. They're very earthy in taste, and the texture is a little different than what we're thinking when we think of like American. Okay, Claire, it's good. It's okay. Maybe earthy's are wrong. It's very warm.
No, I think
it's a
I
very
think it is.
warm, a very warm flavor.
Michael says sounds like the Beverly of crepes.
No.
Okay,
it's good. It's good. But if you're going expecting like something sweet, it's not. It fits in with these savory dishes very well.
And it's not just about the buckwheat either, like, because it's what they add to those. So I actually had, in fact, we have photos, of course, of these. So yes, this one's, well, let's do Susie's first. Susie had the best savory. I had the best dessert one.
Yeah.
Of the ones that we tried. So we tried two of the ones that they had on the menu. So Susie had, was it goat cheese and spinach?
Goat cheese and spinach. And as you can see, there's some walnuts there on top. So you guys can see the color there of the crepe. It's obviously dark brown, but it was, there's cheese everywhere. Every corner of this thing had cheese. Yeah, I gave Matt took a bite of this, and I tried a taste of his, and I'm glad I went with the one I did.
I was like, I made the wrong choice. Not that mine was bad. Mine was not bad. I actually had the ratatouille one. So it had zucchini and onion and eggplant
and tomato.
Tomato. So, and it was good. So it was exactly what I expected it to be. It's just the buckwheat is going to be different. So I'll talk about the prefix in a minute once we talk about the dessert ones. So for the dessert crepes, Susie got the
I did the pear and chocolate ganache, which ended up tasting just like chocolate ganache. So you can see the dessert crepe is a little bit lighter. It's not I think we decided there's like egg or something else added to it. It's also a different texture and consistency. It's sweeter. So don't be freaking out about buckwheat, everyone. You're okay for dessert.
Going back to I'm just going to pop this up again because we had a comment.
Uh-oh.
Looks like a tarp with mayo and nuts. So it wasn't mayonnaise. It was goat cheese.
It's goat cheese, which is my absolute favorite cheese.
We promise. It was actually
it was so good. It was so good. And goat cheese is kind of sweet, so it tasted really good with that buckwheat that everyone's complaining about. But that was my dessert. Matt won for
okay. So let me preface this. Option. Let me preface this by saying I paid an extra $2.95 to add a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of this. So the ice cream does not come with this crepe, but I just thought, you know what? I think this needs this. And I was very right. So I got the apple and caramel crepe and add the ice cream on top. It was perfect. Like perfection. So
the apples were so deliciously tart.
Yeah, the apples were tart, and they weren't raw, but they were like, and not undercooked. They were perfectly cooked. So there was like still a little bit of a crunch to them. And then the sweetness of the caramel went with the tart, and then the crepe was good. And then the vanilla ice cream like really just sent it to the next level. So Claire said, looks like a blown up cinnamon toast crunch. Yes. So.
That's so funny. Yeah, they kind of look funny, don't they? They're like folded like a postcard.
Michael says, all of these served warm, I assume. Yes. So all of the crepes are warm. So yeah, the dessert crepes were great. So really briefly on the prefix menu. So Susie, how much was your savory one? I can't remember.
15.
The savory one was 15. The dessert ones are like what, 8?
8 or 9. Yeah.
8 or 9. So you're looking at close to $25 there on.
And then I didn't have to get a dessert. Honestly, that the crepe itself, the goat cheese one, was very filling. So that's a quick service price, $15 at a table service restaurant. We had people next to us who came in. Mom ordered a salad and the daughter ordered a dessert crepe, and that's all they did, and they left. So It's a very flexible menu. But yes, so between the two of mine, it was less than $25.
So around $25 for the two crepes. So take that into consideration when you consider the prefix menu, which again comes with an appetizer, which is soup or salad, the potato leek soup. So you have soup, then you choose a savory crepe, and then you choose a dessert crepe. And then it also comes with a beverage. You can do soda, water, of course, and then they also all include their ciders in this as well. So all of those 1, 2, 3, 4 things for $33, which in comparison to just getting a savory and sweet a la carte and spending $25, you're paying an extra $8 for an appetizer and a beverage. So
I don't think now it was very filling, and for that price, it's fantastic. If I were to have gotten soup, I would have been disgustingly full. You get these things are very filling,
very, very filling, like a complete meal out of those things. So we didn't stay too much longer after this. We made the trek home, and like when we stopped, I was like, nope, I'm not hungry still. So like I'm good.
Yeah, we stopped at Buc-ee's on the way back, and I got a little thing of because Buc-ee's, and it had grapes, little cheese cubes, a hard-boiled egg, and then in one of the compartments was turkey. So Matt ate the turkey. I had like 4 grapes, 3 bites of cheese, and the egg, and that was my dinner. I was still so full. I didn't eat anything when I got home.
Yeah, so very, very filling, and for a very reasonable price. When you compare that to another restaurant that just opened in Epcot, Space 220, which I've actually heard good things about, where the lunch menu
wasn't meant to be this time.
Where the lunch menu is $55, and then if you want to eat dinner there, it's $79. 33 is sounding pretty good. Again, it's completely different things. Crepes, it's very different than what you would get there at the new restaurant. But I was pleasantly surprised on how good everything was. So again, definitely you're going to want to try this out. It's just going to be really, really difficult to get into, at least for the foreseeable future.
So obviously when you work with us as your travel agents, we can make those make those dining reservations on your behalf when your window opens up. And this is a situation where you're definitely going to have an advantage if you stay on Disney property, because when you stay on Disney property, 60 days out from the first day of your trip, you can make dining reservations for your whole trip. So you have, a couple of days advantage over people who aren't staying on property. And this place will, obviously, there's 106 chairs. It will fill up immediately every morning.
Yeah. So, Michael actually asked, are there any character experiences in the new area? Not that we saw.
I would say not yet. I have a feeling, hopefully when the world returns to some kind of normal, maybe Remy makes an appearance somewhere, maybe out in that little gazebo right outside of the expansion. I don't know. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Freeze-dried food ain't great, I hear. So, talking about the Space 220 menu, there isn't really anything freeze-dried except for the space ice cream, which you can only get in one of the adult beverages. So,
this menu makes no sense to me. We can talk about it some other time. I feel like we'll have to go and figure it out.
We'll experience it. So just listening to people talk about it, it's not overly fancy food. it's American food, flat iron steak, chicken, pasta. It's just done really well. It is really, really good American type food that, is just prepared and presented well in a very nice thing. And then you get the space elevator. So, but we will,
I like to make crepes.
So. We'll eventually do that, but I have no regrets trying out the crepes.
Oh, absolutely not. I love the crepes.
So, and then we got to mention it because
best part of the day.
100% the best part of the day. We did a lot of really fun things, but this was the best. So this is the first time this has happened, maybe?
Yeah, this is a crazy, crazy way that it happened. So we're talking in the beginning. Okay. We were talking in the beginning of this episode about how, you guys are in the parks, or like if you're going to the 50th, come see us, and how our listeners and our clients are our friends. We're sitting in the Creperie, or I think we were waiting for our reservation at that point. And we get a message on Instagram from Madison, who had seen I did a boomerang of the fountain because I'm tech savvy. So I had a boomerang on our Instagram story, and she messaged us and she's like, "That's me in the background. That's my Marvel backpack." She said she heard Matt's voice and she saw us, but like we were getting in line and it just didn't like work out or whatever. And so I messaged her like, "Hey, are you still in the park? Like, we definitely want to meet up and say hi." So we did. It's funny that she saw we were here, but she was actually in our Instagram story, like lurking there in the background. So we were able to meet up with her and her friend outside of the creation shop after we ate and waddled our way over there. Here is picture proof. So that was so fun. Did not expect to, wow, my eyes are super wrinkly. I'm looking old. But did not expect that at all. It really just brightened our day. And then we posted this and you guys started commenting. There were other listeners in the park that day. And unfortunately, we were on our way out. Some of y'all were like waiting in queues or other places, and we just couldn't make it work. Some of you messaged when you're coming to the park next, and it overlaps with some of our trips. So we really love you guys. And Madison, I hope you're listening. That honestly made our day.
So much fun.
Yeah, I texted my mom. I was like, "Look at this. This is so cool." And she's like, "Okay."
Yeah, and we know some of you guys are going to be in the parks this week, and you've already messaged us. So we're going to try to meet up with you guys. But if you guys are going to be around this week, Friday we're going to be in Magic Kingdom, and then Saturday, Saturday we're still figuring it out. I'm going to be in Epcot.
I'm going to try to get into Epcot.
Susie, Hollywood? You have Hollywood, right?
Hollywood that morning. I'm going to do Standby Rise of the Resistance. So that goes. And then hop over in the afternoon to Epcot if I can, because I want to see Harmonious.
Yeah.
But I'll be there Thursday night. I have no plans. We may go to like Disney Springs or something. I mentioned our listener and client Phil is there. So yeah, this is cool. Like, you guys are super fun. And I feel like we all interact a lot on different platforms. Like, you guys know us, and we just all feels very genuine. And that really just makes us really happy that we get to connect with you guys and, take that to the next level of seeing you in person at the parks, or helping plan a trip where you get engaged, or, it's an anniversary trip or something special like that. We get to feel like we're part of your lives more so than just those two crazy voices you hear maybe on your, commute into work on your podcast.
Yeah. So it is an honor and a privilege to be able to share our love of Disney with you. And, this week is special. It's we've been looking forward to this for a long time. I think there were moments in the past year where we wondered, is this going to happen? Like, what is the extent of October 1st going to look like? And it looks like everything's a go. And I think we're just kind of going to roll with it and see if there's any surprises. But happy birthday, happy anniversary, 50th anniversary to one of my favorite places on earth. It's created so many memories for me growing up as a child, and for my family now, as I take my child and wife to the parks and we get to spend time together. It's just a special place, and I cannot wait for the next 50 years.
Yeah, I can't wait to roll up in a power chair to the 100th.
We'll be there in our little motorized scooters for the 100th. So
whatever, I'm gonna be a cute old lady. I'm just gonna be a sassy old lady and say whatever comes to my mind.
Well, it's going to be a fun week. And because we're going to be down there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will not have our movie night this Friday. So we'll have to check with you guys the following week. I'm actually going to be gone again that week, but Susie's going to run the movie night chat on Discord. Mm-hmm. So that'll be October 8th. October 8th will be the next movie. So
because then I won't be there the next week. And then just dominoes. The year's so close to being over. What in the world?
October's just kind of a busy month. So
yeah,
but it's a blast. But so in the meantime, and again, so we're going to be there this weekend. We're going to be posting a lot of stuff. So come follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Just search for the ImagineEars Disney Podcast on any social media platform that you like to get your information and interact on. And then the same thing goes for the podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you like to listen to your audio podcast in your car or in your home. You can, again, find us by searching for the ImagineEars Disney Podcast. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and a review. That is the best way for people to get the word out on the podcast and help grow our listenership, and share it on social media as well. So we appreciate doing the show every week with you guys. And we're looking forward to coming back with so I guess our next episode will be just kind of our recap of the 50th and everything that takes place.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's going to be great. We're looking forward to it.
Crazy.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Actually, hold on. A couple more questions before we leave. Let's see. Any refurbs down for the 50th? Trying to think. I don't think there are any, but we'll verify that and we'll get back with you.
I feel like People Mover will be down.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is going to go down. That's just how theme park attractions go. But I think pretty much everything is up and running, with the exception of, I don't think Mickey's PhilharMagic is back yet. I think they're redoing the theater, but it'll be back soon.
I thought they were just adding the Coco scene.
They're also upgrading the audio and the projector.
Yeah, I feel like that's not going to be ready.
So, we'll check this here. Mickey's PhilharMagic. Magic, Disney World. Verb. Looking at the list here.
I'm not. I'm just standing here.
Oh, well. I don't want to keep you guys. So we will find that out and let you know.
Yeah, I say probably not.
Yeah, I think it's still down just for a little bit. But the Hall of Presidents is back, so go check that out.
I love some air conditioning.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week for our next episode for the ImagineEars Disney Podcast, where we will chat about the 50th anniversary and what you can look forward to for the next 18 months as we celebrate the 50th anniversary. So we look forward to coming at you next time. But until then, friends, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting.